Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot tonight. We have finally figured out what the Jets' schedule is going to be. Let's get all your thoughts and let's talk about wins, losses. How will the Jets do this year? Are we any better than last year? Budster, Joseph Purdy, A-Rod Spidey, Dean, Kelly, Rasta, Joe S, Eric, V, what's up, boys? Jet fan for life, Steven, William, Joe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I like it. All right. Initial reactions from the schedule. Very, very pleased. Very pleased with how upgrade my internet. My internet's pretty good. I don't know why it would be skipping around for you guys. All right, boys. Lots of lag. Better now. Are you guys... Can you guys see me now? Give me some... My lag is gone. All right, cool. No longer lagging. I apologize for the lag. I have pretty good internet here, too. I don't know why it's not going. All right, let's start talking about the schedule. We will go over it one by one and figure out our wins and losses. So let me get my little... Got my little... wins and loss thing right here. All right. So week one, the Jets are starting off going up to Orchard Park to face the Buffalo Bills, division rival Buffalo Bills. That's right. The Jets have the third hardest schedule of the teams in the NFL, so this is going to be a very interesting way to go about it. First game of the season, Jets at Bills. I love it. I think there's going to be a high-energy game. You have the Sam Darnold versus the Josh Allen, the guys that got selected in the same draft class. Right now, I think the Bills are the better team. I think they have more weapons. I think they're better coached right now. I think they have a better offensive line. I'm going to say week one, I'm going to pencil us in for a loss up in Buffalo. Just because of the situations, possibly a shorter training camp. We've got a lot of new pieces. They have a lot of returning pieces. I think this is going to play an issue with, or going to play into an issue for us for week one. Now, week two, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They are coming out to the East Coast. This is our home opener. Our home opener. Darnold has never lost in Buffalo. That is true. We also played their backups last year, so keep that in mind. September 20th, 1 o'clock game against the 49ers. 49ers, very tough team. I don't necessarily believe in Jimmy Garoppolo, but Jerome Strax, what's up, dude? I apologize. I mispronounced your name in my video the other day, so apologies. Brandon Batts, undefeated in Buffalo. I know. All right, so week two. I'm going to say San Francisco coming across the U.S. They're going to be coming into a rowdy first home opener for the New York Jets. I'm going to say we sneak out a win here. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo very much. I could see a W coming in after the Buffalo loss, the Jets being a little upset that we dropped the first division game of the season. Then we go and we have the Indianapolis Colts. We are playing this in Indianapolis. Phillip Rivers is the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts right now. I believe they have what? They got Michael Pittman in the second round as well. Going to be very interesting. A lot of times when we look at the schedule, you try to break things up into weeks of four. Like 4 stretch weeks. Like what can you do out of the first week and the first week and the first week? So we'll keep this in mind as we kind of move forward. So, that's right. a rowdy game for week one. Oh, sorry, not for week one. For the Jets home opener. Yeah, there may not be any volume for the Jets home opener. There's no potentially no rowdiness for the Jets home opener. But we'll say crossing the country, Jets could pull off a W with the 49ers. When we're talking with the Colts, 4 o'clock game, I think their offensive line is very good. I think Phillip Rivers is still legit. I'm hoping that this could be a win here, but I'm going to pencil us in for a loss. I think just because of all the, the returning players they have, that offensive line is really no joke. I'm going to say, I got a little tiny L. How do I make this L bigger? Bigger L. Boom. I'm going to say we're going to lose to the Colts. We're going to start 1-2. This gets us to October 1st and a Thursday night game against Denver. This is going to be interesting because we have the second-year quarterback, Drew Lock, going up against the Jets. I think by this point, and this is going to be in MetLife. This is a MetLife game. If we, if we have fans there, be fantastic. It'd be the first one that I'm looking forward to actually see that. But we'll say we're not going to have it. Week 1. So I'm saying week 1. Week 4 against the Broncos. I'm going to say this is a victory. I think this is a win, just waiting to happen. Let's see. How do I duplicate this? I think I can just rename, remove, transform. I don't know how to duplicate. All right. So I'll just add another one. All right. So we're going to start off the season with a 2-2 record. I can take 2-2 through the first 4 games. Assuming we can stay healthy, I am very, very happy with a win against the Broncos. This gets into a very interesting stretch for the Jets. The Broncos are really the first game in a stretch of games where the Jets could kind of go on a small tear here in the season. October 11th against the Cardinals. That's going to be in MetLife as well. I'm all about it. I think the Jets can win this game. I don't trust Kyler Murray right now. I think he's still young. I think traveling across the country is going to be hard regardless of roster. I think the Jets team is going to be a little more gelled together at this point. Let's predict maybe a shorter preseason or a shorter training camp. So getting the victory against the Cardinals at home. Jets start the season 3-0 at home and 0-2 on the road. This is going to be the Jets. We finally get into the next week of the season. We're talking about the LA Chargers. This is the Jets' 3rd away game. It's their first West Coast trip of the season. Now, let's remember, they do not have Phillip Rivers anymore. They're going to have Justin Herbert, the rookie, if he does start. If he doesn't start, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. I'm going to predict here for the Jets. I think this could be a victory. I like their defense a lot, the Chargers, but I think with the rookie quarterback or Tyrod Taylor, remember the last time the Jets saw Tyrod Taylor, we were beating him up and down like a drum against the Cleveland Browns. And had he not gotten slightly injured and knocked around, the Jets probably win that game against the Browns. So I'm going to say they win against the Chargers here. Jets are now 4-2 going in through 6 games, and then we get the Bills at home. This is going to be where the Jets can steal one. I think the Jets wind up beating the Bills at home. I think this is a game the Jets absolutely must win. It's something that you don't want to go too far in the division with losses here. You have 1-1 in the division after this Bills game, and you are 5-2 on the year. This schedule looks significantly better than what the Jets had last year. Last year, remember, we had the Bills week 1, which wasn't bad, but then we had the Browns and we have the Patriots with Tom Brady. We don't really have any of those daunting games early on. All the quarterbacks are sort of suspect. I would say the San Francisco 49ers are the hardest game of the bunch for us right off the bat. I don't necessarily trust Allen with the Bills, so I think either one of those games could be a win. 49ers might be a little bit upsetting. I could see us losing that game, but I think that's really the only tough game that we have at the start of the season. Now we go into Arrowhead, and this one I think we can all probably agree more than likely is going to be a loss here. I would be all about us getting, stealing one away from the Super Bowl champs. I think it'll be very tough. I think this team is just locked and loaded, and I do not see a victory coming in this fashion. Now, let's see, what is that? That's 8 weeks through the season. Not too bad. If we can go 2-2 and then 3-1 to start those first 4-game stretches, that's going to be pretty good. Elijah says you're not beating the 49ers. No, I could see us not beating the 49ers. That would not surprise me. I could see us at 4-3 or 4-4 or 5-3 through the first 8 games. I think that the definite wins on the Jets schedule are the Broncos, Chargers, Cardinals. Those would be the 3 games right off the bat that I could see us winning. I think the Jets split with the Bills. So realistically, 4 wins is the floor for the New York Jets, I think through 8 weeks of the season. Now we go into the Patriots. This is a Monday night game. This is a home game. 8:15 Monday night. I hope we're playing real games in the stadiums and with fans, because this is a game that I have circled on my calendar that I want to go to. So let's say no Tom Brady. Jets home on a Monday night. We finally put a beat down on the team that has absolutely dominated us the last however many years. It has been 20 years with Tom Brady at the helm, Belichick and all. We're going to win against the Patriots on Monday Night Football. Jets get a win here. Away for Miami. These are games that the Jets should win. This is a game you need to win if you're the Jets. Miami has a fresh new quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. I could absolutely see him at this point in the season starting. So now we're talking, what is this, week 10? So week 10, you figure Fitzpatrick starts the first 8 games of the season or so. They want to start giving a little bit of reps to their young rookie quarterback, and now Greg Williams gets to feast on Tua. So do the Jets, I think if the Jets play against Fitzpatrick this week, that week 10 week in Miami, I think that could be a loss. I think because we're versing Tua, it could be his first game of the season. I'm going to say this one is a win for the Jets, and that basically has us looking pretty good. So now what are we at? We got 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. 7-3. Could you imagine being 7-3? We don't win in Miami, you guys say. So imagine 7-3, let's say 6-4 maybe, going into the bye. If we could go 6-4 into the bye, and week 11 bye. Week 11 bye is going to be so much better than what we had last year. Last year we had the week 4 bye, and it was absolutely abysmal. I'm going to say we win in Miami just because Tua winds up starting, and it's not going to be quite not the homecoming. I don't think he's going to come out guns blazing like that. Or, you know what? Maybe we switch it. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's say I'm calling an audible here. We're going to say that's not going to be a win. We'll call this a loss. We'll say that Fitz is still playing during this time, because I think the Jets split with Miami, and it would make more sense if this first one were a loss right here, and then we come out of our bye. I don't know when their bye is off the top of my head, but we'll say after the bye, they come in and they bring in Tua, and then the Jets will get the second of the 2 games right there. Big Green Nick George, thank you for the super chat. I honestly just want to see good football. That's just it. I don't care what the Jets' record necessarily is. I would love to see them go all in for a 10-win season, 11-win season. But if I see competent football, I was saying before the season that this schedule could definitely be 7-9. I think 8-8 is a really realistic approach for this season. If you have 8-8 playing the teams that we're playing this year, that with the third hardest schedule, Sam would have obviously had to progress. And I think if Sam progresses, that's what you really want to see. So we're talking Oakland. Oakland comes to town. Or sorry, not Oakland, Las Vegas. That's going to be a new one for me. Las Vegas is coming to town. We beat them last year. I don't see any reason why the Jets can't beat them again this year. So I'm going to give us a W with Oakland. This would be fantastic for the New York Jets, because this is better than you could ever do. Now, this is going to be an overly optimistic kind of stance on everything, I think. But this looks good. We're at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins. We 8-4. If we go 8-4 heading into last week of the season, yeah, you guys laughing at me for Oakland. Sorry. How are we beating the Niners? Are you joking? Look, you guys want to take away the 49ers. Let's take away the 49ers. You guys seem very upset that I put the 49ers in there as a win. So let's remove that right off the bat. I don't trust Jimmy G. I'll be honest. I don't think the 49ers are necessarily as daunting as everyone might make them out to be. But let's throw the loss up there. We'll get that. That'll be maybe a little bit more realistic. Now, just remember, if you go 0-3 to start the season, this is why you have to be concerned. 0-3 to start the season, basically, you make the playoffs about, I think it's 2 or 3% of the time when you start the season 0-3. So you really do not want this to happen. This will show you just how important that first week at Buffalo is going to be. If the Jets could pull out a win week 1 or a win in week 3, if you really assume that week 2 loss is going to be, or that week 2 game against the 49ers is a loss, not good for the Jets and their playoff chances. So if we can hold the ship steady, we get to the Denver game, we get through that 4-game stretch, Denver, Cardinals, Chargers, and Bills. You can get 4 wins right there before you hit the Chiefs. Now the Jets, we're looking at 7-5. We're looking at 7-5. That's probably a little more realistic heading into there. Seattle, we are going away to Seattle. This game is generally thought of as a loss right off the bat, and I'm going to pencil it in as a loss. I don't see us beating them. I think Russell Wilson's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I think that's a tough place to win. That said, if there is no crowd in Seattle because of this whole COVID thing, and this is going to be an empty stadium type of game, I could see a win in Seattle if there's no crowd. There's no 13th man for them, but we're going to say this is a loss. They're a much better team right now. I can't justify the Jets beating the Seahawks. Joe S., thank you for the super chat. Which week will Gase play Gore over Bell? Ooh, I hope we don't see Gase over Bell. I hope we don't see Frank Gore over Bell. I hope Frank Gore is very much the short yardage back, that 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 type of running back that you just sort of plow towards the center of the offensive line and get that extra yard. Let Bell kind of take a breather, sort of be all refreshed. I would, or 13th man, sorry, 12th man. Oh, geez, my head is all over the place right now. I'm tired. I had a long few days of work. I get over here. Ugh, hard schedule. What's up, New York Sports MC? I see you over there. Guys, if any of you are first-class passengers in the channel, I do have the exclusive phone line open, so I do have that phone line open if you guys are a part of it. If you are, you could give a ring and discuss your thoughts. If not, no worries. The Rams. Okay, let's talk about the Rams. This is what, week 15? I guess that's week 15, right? 15, 16, 17? Yeah. Against the Rams in LA. Now that, even if we have fans in the stands, has got to be a better if we have fans in the stands for the LA game, the Jets could have more fans in LA than the Rams actually do. So this is not even a home game or an away game or a home game for the Rams. I think the Jets can win this. They don't have Todd Gurley. I don't trust Goff much at all. I think that team's kind of been hemorrhaging a lot. I could see the Jets sneaking a victory. This is going to be a win if the Jets want to do well in the with the AFC or NFC West schedule. This is going to be a game that I think they have to win because I think the Cardinals and I think the Rams are the only 2 games that the Jets really, really have a shot. The 49ers are a team that I think we could win on, but I think the Rams are going to be that game. Now we have the Browns. The Browns week 16 is going to be interesting because if they are fighting for a wild card spot, remember we could have 3 wild card spots now. So you have the Browns, the Ravens. Ravens are probably winning that division. So you probably have the Browns and the Steelers fighting it out for a wild card. I don't see the Bengals being competitive this year. So if this game comes down to it, Steven, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining the economy class. Very glad to have you on here. So if you have the Browns coming into MetLife. This is our last home game of the season, the day after Christmas. I would love to get that Christmas present late and really beat Baker. We've lost to him 2 times now. 2 times. The first game was a load of BS. The whole Tyrod Taylor going down. We had everything really, firing on all cylinders against them, and then Baker comes in and really changed that entire game. Last year, we don't have Sam Darnold. I think the Jets can win this game if Sam Darnold is there. I really do believe it. I'm going to say for right now, the Browns have a much better offensive line. I think this game could be... Oh, God. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I feel like we're going to win one of these next 2 games. I feel like we should win the Browns game at home after maybe like a really nice game with LA. But I think we have one of those dud-type games, and we just lay an egg. And we're going to lose against the Browns for a third time in a row. And we just get all fired up. We just get angry at Baker Mayfield and that whole Browns team. I'm going to say a loss on Christmas Eve. So no, this has the Jets at 8-7. 8-7, heading into the last little bit of the season. Last game of the season. And now we have the Patriots. January 3rd, it's a Patriots home game. And this could be a game where the Jets need it to absolutely get into the playoffs. A 9-7 team, I think, makes it into the playoffs this year with that third wild card seed. So I'm going to say the Jets go in there, and the first time in years, I couldn't even tell you when the last time this was, I say we sweep the Patriots. I don't think Brian Hoyer or Jarrett Stidham is very good at all. I think the Jets can win this. Hopefully we don't accidentally give them their tanking season and they wind up doing real well. I have the Jets 9-7. 9-7, all things in by the end of the year. So let's see. 9-7, sneaking into the playoffs. So let's see. What are you guys saying in the chat? You guys think Cleveland's a win? I could see Cleveland winning. I could see the Jets winning against Cleveland at home. There's games that I don't necessarily agree on in this. It's going to depend a lot on health. It's going to depend a lot on the momentum coming into certain games. If the Jets go on a 3-game losing streak to start the season, that is terrible. It would be absolutely horrible. I could see the Jets winning one of those 3 opening games. I think it's going to be tough to lose against the Bills, the 49ers, and the Colts all in a row. Hopefully Rivers has a little bit less in the tank than what I think he does. I think that Colts team is going to be really good. I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. I think the Broncos are a win, Cardinals a win, Chargers a win. I think we split with the Bills. I think we split with the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are a better team right now than the Patriots are. I don't really trust Belichick. They've won a ton of games with backup quarterbacks, but I don't know if I believe that the Patriots are ready to win without Tom Brady right now. That's sort of where I fall on it. So 9-7, that'll be my prediction for the Jets for this season. I think that's an overly optimistic view. I think 8-8. I could see 10-6. Look, we're going to be somewhere in the 8-8 to 10-6. If you fall worse than 8-8 this year, it's going to be a lot worse for Adam Gase. There's going to be a lot of issues because you should have a better offensive line. You should have better weapons. You should have a healthy Sam. These are all important factors for the New York Jets, and you just cannot come out and drop a 5-11 season or a 6-10 season. If you have one of these kind of years, I could see Adam Gase just getting thrown out the door. Now let's take a look at this a different way. When is the trade deadline? I think the trade deadline is week 7 or 8. So let's say you are around the Buffalo or the Chiefs game for the trade deadline. We have Marcus May. We have Marcus May. We have Jamal Adams. You have Le'Veon Bell. Who knows? Maybe there's some other players on our roster that other teams might be calling about. What could happen if the Jets are, say, 3-3 or 3-4 or 4-3, heading into the Chiefs game? I think you're winning at that point. If you have a winning record, you try to hold on to your players. I would not want to get rid of Marcus May if we're 4-3 and we're sitting there, and I would have a hard time getting rid of Marcus May. J-Mart, thank you for joining the economy class. Newest member of the channel, thank you so much. Yeah, look, 9-7 I think is realistic for the Jets. I think it's an optimistic approach, but I think it's absolutely doable. This past year we finished 7-9, and we had some games that we could have won. There were some games we definitely lost really badly. The Dolphins game, the Cincinnati game, those are games I would love to get back. And hopefully we don't see that type of effort from the New York Jets this year. So let's do this. I'm going to throw the number up for a little bit. If you guys want to call in, let's see if I can get that up there. Where's the phone number? I'll do some brief call-ins. I probably got to shrink that down so you guys can see it. Whoops. Bam. All right, phone number is up on the screen. Let me just switch. I was on the exclusive line only. Now I'm going to switch over to the main line. We got to be realistic, not optimistic. This is the Jets dude, says Shmuel. Shmuel, I'm sorry. I'm always optimistic. Got to be optimistic.
Call from
Noah, what's up, brother? Welcome. What do you think of the schedule?
What?
What do you think of the schedule?
I think it's a little tougher than expected, but we should be able to get it done.
What do you project for a win-loss record?
What?
What do you predict for our win-loss record?
I honestly agree with your thing.
Ah, okay. Very cool, very cool. What's your favorite game that you're looking forward to this season?
I'm looking forward to beating the Patriots, but
I really hope we do. It's been so long since we've had a sweep of the Patriots, and there's nothing more I would love to see than Bill Belichick just getting really frustrated and like spitting nails. Maybe Tom Brady's doing well in Tampa Bay, and that just adds a little more salt to the wound. What game are you fearing the most?
I don't like the 49ers.
I hear you. Brother, I'm going to get some more calls. Thank you so much for calling in. Guys, phone line's open. I'm going to take calls probably till about 9:30. We'll do this till 9:30. So we will... you guys say eject. Man, I want to see the eject button. I really like seeing the eject button pop up on there. Bills come back down to earth this year, says Joe S. This caller is feeling nice. It sounds like he's some of the devil's lettuce. Hey, what's good, brother? What are you thinking about the Jets schedule?
Hey, this is my first time actually getting to talk to you, which is really funny.
Oh, I'm glad.
I love your show, first of all. Always watch it every Monday night. Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful to watch and do homework, too. Jets schedule is very interesting this year, though.
Yeah, what are you thinking about it? What are your thoughts for win-loss record?
I really do like your prediction of 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
That's very optimistic.
Yep.
And but I really do think because we're the Jets, we're going to go the opposite and go 7-9.
That's kind of how like the pessimist in me feels. I think you could very easily see a loss against the Patriots. I could see us splitting Buffalo, Miami, and the Patriots. All just go 3-3 across the board. I could see us losing against the Rams like that. It's easy enough. I could see 7-9. That's not. I don't think I'll be shocked anywhere between 7-9 and 9-7.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there a game you're looking forward to more than any other game?
I'm secondarily a Seahawks fan.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
My father used to watch Brian Bosworth in the Seahawks, so I watch him now.
Oh, awesome. I like Russell Wilson a lot.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players of all time. Absolutely love him. Very underrated, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm not a very tall guy, so like watching Russell Wilson just gives me all sorts of like happy feelings because I'm like, oh wow, if he could do it, maybe I could have done it had I not been so lazy.
He's like the everyman, yeah.
Is there a game that you're? Is there a game you're like worried about?
Worried about? the game I'm most worried about is the Dolphins because I don't want to be embarrassed again.
Yeah, I would say those would be the games that are sneaky scary for me. Like if we lose against the Broncos, the Cardinals, or any of those other teams, it's not really as shocking. But I feel like the Dolphins are a game we got embarrassed last year. We could sweep them this year if we're playing a rookie quarterback in like not back-to-back weeks, but every other week.
Yeah.
If we're playing Fitzpatrick, now all of a sudden it sort of throws a curveball in there. I don't know what to think of Tua. I think Tua is the best quarterback in this draft class.
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't know if he'll be ready and raring to go, at this point in the season.
Well, now the Dolphins kind of have a built-in excuse if they beat anybody with Brian Flores and being like a Patriots descendant who actually worked.
Oh, for sure.
And so, like, between the Dolphins, between Drew Lock and the Broncos, with their new wide receivers, and like the Cardinals and Kyler Murray and his ability to scatter and actually find his new wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, like those are wild card games that we should win, but it's very easy not to win.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. This Browns game at the end of the year is one that I'm looking at, and I just really want to win. I just want to beat Baker so bad. He seems like such a little arrogant prick. And this is someone that really I wanted Baker coming out, and I wanted Baker because I thought Darnold was going 1, so I wanted Darnold, but I thought Baker. I wanted Baker at 3. We got Darnold. Now I'm just sick of Baker. I'm just so sick of all the antics. I think he's just incredibly annoying on the field, and there's nothing more than getting a win after Christmas on, against the Browns. Maybe that puts us into playoff contention. We're probably competing for a playoff spot with the Browns. So that's going to be a must-win game for the Jets at that point in the season if we're contending for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
All right, brother. I'm going to get some more calls. Thank you so much for calling in. Boom! You have been ejected from the cockpit. Exclusive number, guys. I do have the exclusive line hooked up as well. I think it's working. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I haven't had anyone call in. Grandpa Mark said he had some issues with it last time, but I have it pulled up. So we'll see. Actually, I should call from my phone. That's what I'll do. Make sure it's working for you guys. Let's see. Give myself a call. Aha! All right, so exclusive number is working. Had to do that. How do we call SBC Comedy? The phone number is listed right below my my little panel here, and your call will come through via Google Voice. If you are an exclusive member of the channel, I do have the exclusive number. You guys should have that for joining the channel. I'm not going to list that anywhere else. It's just for you top flight, first class kind of characters. Poll question, I apologize. Nightbot is saying that there's a poll question. There is no poll question tonight.
Call from
Bernard from North Carolina.
Bernard, what's good, brother? What are you thinking about the schedule?
It's tough.
Yeah, AFC West,
schedule,
NFC West.
I got some interesting matchups I'm looking at. That's obviously San Francisco, Cleveland, Seattle, and Kansas City. Obviously, those are the 4 matchups that are outside of our division.
Yeah.
And I looked at how you picked us. I see you had us obviously losing San Francisco. I don't think we can be ready for them either.
Yeah, I had us originally. I had us winning against the 49ers. I had so many people upset with me in the chat. They're like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me!" I was like, "Hey, I'll change it." I think we get one of these first 3 games. So whether that's the Bills game or the Colts game, if it's not the 49er game, I'm thinking 49er game. If we have fans in the stands and we're actually doing the group gathering thing, I think the Jets can win the 49er game. But if it's not...
the key to the Jets, them putting a functional offense on the field, I just wonder how fast it's going to take this offensive line to jail, with Becton being a rookie and how these linemen are going to come together. Because if this line can come together and give Donald, if they don't give him on every snap a clean pocket, at least half the snaps, give him a clean pocket where he can get some things done, I think we're going to pull some upset. It could be San Francisco, it could be Kansas City or Seattle. One of them are going to get upset. One of the teams.
Honestly, I could see it. I think the Jets are going to be a lot better now this season than we were last year. And even if we end up, let's say we end up with a 7-9 record. Like, let's say some of these games that I predicted us winning, we wind up losing. I can see a 7-9 season being significantly better than what we got last year from the Jets. And I could see that being, like you said, 49ers, Chiefs, Seahawks. I could see us winning one of these games in a 7-9 year.
It's going to come down to the defense playing well, which we anticipate, but the offense still needs a bit more work to get us to the next level, to maybe 10, 11 wins next year. What do you think that?
Yeah, I think if we go into the 2021 season after, say, a 7-9 or 8-8 season, I think if Sam Darnold has firmly planted himself as the franchise quarterback, which I think he is. I think he's the guy.
Yeah. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. He's been hurt or ill the last 2 years, so I'm trying to keep my fingers crossed for him. That this line can keep him clean. If the line can just hold their blocks, I mean, they're not going to hold him on every snap, but if they could just keep him from having to pull the ball down and running for his life on every snap, that's not good. And let him get in a rhythm and set his feet and get in a rhythm like a traditional quarterback, I think he could have a tremendous year. I think he could push for 1,000 yards this year despite a tough schedule.
Yeah, I think if if Sam can play well, if we can get close to 4,000 yards from him in a 16-game season, like if we get all 16 games out of him, if we can get close to 4,000 yards, say 25 touchdowns, I think our touchdown record is 31 by Fitzpatrick. So if he can get somewhere in that realm, that will give the Jets the energy, I think, next offseason to really come out as a potential contender for the Super Bowl for fall, for 2021.
So it's time.
We need a corner, and I think we need an edge rusher.
Yeah.
What was that?
So what do you think about the Marcus May thing? Do you think we're going to use that chip or pursue Ndakwe, or do you think that's a little too rich for the Jets front office, or you think they'll look elsewhere as far as Marcus May and shopping him? So that's the deal I want to see them make. If you're going to make a deal, put it together with him, maybe a 2 and a 4, put together a package and get it done.
You're saying May for Ndakwe? So you want to get Ndakwe?
I think we need to go all in.
That's what I would do. I would absolutely go after Ndakwe if I could get one of these potential trade options. I know Juju Smith-Schuster is a popular name for Jet fans as well with the wide receiver position. But I think edge rusher is definitely needed. It depends what happens with this whole COVID thing too, because if we're still not seeing games in stadiums or not seeing games with fans, then you might have to kind of rethinks things. Like how does this affect your free agent market? How does this affect the salary cap? I made a video yesterday talking about that. If the Jets or if the NFL is not playing any games, they could lose up to $80 million on a salary cap, and that could be spread out over a bunch of years. I think there's a bunch of ways that could, in theory, happen. But do you want to pay someone a ton of money before you know what's going to happen? Maybe when you look at the trade deadline, week 6, week 7, whatever week that winds up being, and now you trade Marcus May in a third or Marcus May in a second, you get Ndakwe, you throw $20 million his way. I'm of the mindset that you can pay 4 players big money at a time. If you're saying I could swap out Tremaine Johnson's contract and pay, let's say, Jamal Adams, if we could swap out Le'Veon Bell's contract and pay, an Ndakwe or someone of that stature.
Because I'm thinking if there's big 3 contracts, we should be for us, Ndakwe, obviously Jamal Adams, and Sam Darnold. Those are the key centerpieces. Those are the guys that you're going to really throw the money at.
Oh, for sure.
Well worth it, and then everybody else is going to be the bargain basement guys. $7 million here, $10 million there, $12 million there, and that's how you're going to disperse the rest of that money. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you'd have to. I think you have to spread out that money as best you can. Jamal Adams is going to be a very crucial part of that. I think you're going to have to structure the team salary cap between him and Sam, because you have Mosley under contract. I think for the next 2 years, in terms of the ability to not get out of his contract. So if you could hold on to him for 2 years, and then Jamal's money kicks in, then Sam's money kicks in, then it's a little bit
because I think
easier.
If they don't pull the trigger on a Ndakwe sometime this season, I think the number 1 pick we all project for 2021 has got to be an edge rusher.
Yeah, I would say edge rusher or corner. It would be edge rusher or corner for me. I think one of those 2 positions in the first round would be my prediction. I think I don't want to say we're set on offense. We could use another wide receiver, but I'm okay with seeing how Perriman, how Doxson, how Vincent Smith, how these other players on the in our wide receiver core kind of pan out. I'm looking forward to Mims. I think Crowder's going to be good. I think Herndon and Griffin are both fine.
Looking at how Joe Douglas goes about things, I don't see him taking a wide receiver in the first round. He may look in the second or third rounds if we have those picks, and I anticipate those other compensatory picks coming.
Sure.
But I think this time around, he's going to look at a high-impact defensive guy. It'll probably be a number one caliber corner or an edge rusher. I'm banking on that for 2021.
I completely agree, Bernard. Thank you so much for calling in, brother. I'm going to get some more calls before I hop out of here. I got about 16 minutes. I'm going to only do an hour stream tonight. Wasn't sure how to do this. I wasn't sure if I was going to do just a standalone video or do a live stream. I figured I'd do a live stream and kind of talk to a bunch of you guys. It's also a lot easier than having to go back and edit everything. All right, caller. Who do we got?
Call from
Liam.
Hey, what's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Let's go, Ryan.
Hanging in there. What do you think of the schedule?
All right. I think you're being a little bit too optimistic just because we're dealing with Gase here, just remember.
I'm trying to keep my optimism with Gase because I think any coach that came in last year was going to get, if you had Sam Darnold miss with mono, if you had all the injuries we had, if you had a GM who did not want to take your insight into draft prospects, into free agents, I think that's all stacked against you. Now, I'm all on board getting rid of Gase if we have a bad season this year on offense. I think it's like show up or get out this season. 9-7, definitely optimistic. It would not shock me to see a 10-6 year though. That's the thing. Like looking at the schedule and seeing the teams that have to come out west, I'm not afraid of LA. Either team. I'm not afraid of the Raiders. Yeah. I could see us sweeping the Patriots. I could see us sweeping the Dolphins. Maybe Rivers regresses with the Colts. It's such a crapshoot this year that I just don't know what to think. Where do you think the Jets fall? I'm kind of in the 7-9 to 9-7 range. I think 10-6 is too rich for me.
Yeah, I feel anywhere from like 7-9. I'll be a little bit sad with 7-9, but I'll be ecstatic with 9-7 and above. But just I'm afraid of the two Dolphins games and the Raiders game because we beat the Raiders last year. I feel like we're all gonna have this confidence, and it's just gonna let us down once again. And same thing with the Dolphins.
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's so scary. Like, you thought the Jets would just romp over the Dolphins last year. 2 games. What do we played them 2 times, I think, in like 4 weeks it was. Yeah. And I like Flores down there. I think he's a really good coach. I think Tua's going to be the best quarterback of the bunch. I don't know if he's ready to be that just yet. I think the defense is going to be improved. I don't know. God, I don't know what to think. The Raider game, I agree, is a little squirrely because that team does look pretty good. I think the Jets can beat Carr. They don't scare me. Like, I think we handled them pretty well last year. I don't know. What do you think of the Patriots? Do you think the Patriots wind up being the team of years past? Do you think they still put up a tough fight?
I mean, I'm saying, I'll be overly excited with sweeping them, as I'm sure all the Jets fans of the world would be. But, I expect a split with the Patriots.
Yeah, I think realistically, if you could split with Patriots, Dolphins, and Bills, I think that's kind of what you could expect. What did we do this year? We split with the Bills, we lost to the Patriots, and then we split with the Dolphins, right? So we went 2-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-3 would be a good win for the Jets, I think, this year in terms of scheduling.
Yeah, totally agree, man.
What game are
like
you?
The Broncos game.
You think you're? I like the Broncos game. I think the Jets can definitely win that game on a short rest. It does kind of suck that we're away in an afternoon game and then have to fly back home on short rest against the Broncos. I'm not too thrilled with that. But
yeah, that is true. Good point.
We'll see.
Wait,
Brother, I'm going to get to some more calls. Thank you so much for
All right.
calling in.
All right, have a good night.
You too, brother. I apologize for cutting you off a little bit, but I wanted to get through a few more calls, get some of your thoughts and opinions on there. Where do you think the Jets go as far as their record is concerned? I'll be on for about another 11 minutes, so get your calls in now. I like the old impromptu stream. The impromptu stream is kind of nice. I see a bunch of numbers popping up. Ooh, I see Chris from Florida trying to call in. See Nate's in there. Bunch of people blowing it up. Blowing it up. Blowing it up. What's the chat got going on? Josh Allen MVP? I don't think so. I like Josh Allen. I don't trust him to win a game. Ryan, you need to get married, says Cheese Boys. I know. I'm not getting married till next year now. Getting married May 28th of 2021. We decided to push it back a year. Not too thrilled. Aren't there 2 wildcard teams now? There might be 2 wildcard teams. Are there 2 wildcard teams or are there 3? I was under the impression that we're going to start with the 3 wildcard teams this year. But maybe that's next season. It's possible that's next season. I'm hoping we see. I don't know how I feel about 3 wildcard teams. I'm like, I want to see more football, and I'm all about that. I think it makes the first seed a lot harder. Man, I see a bunch of your calls popping up right now. It's not pushing through to me because there's too many coming up at the same time. So I apologize. So keep calling in. Black Hippie 13 says 3 wildcard teams this year. There we go.
Call from
Joe.
Joe, what's up, brother? What do you think about the schedule?
Oh man, I think it's going to be about 7 and 9.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans are probably, before the schedule were released, we're thinking 7 and 9, 8 and 8. I think 9 and 7 is the overly optimistic approach to the schedule. That's kind of where I've pegged us. Is there a game that you're particularly looking at on this schedule that you either want to go to or that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the first game, the Bills. I want to see that on TV.
I'm really looking forward to it. I like watching the Bills a lot from a fan perspective. There's something intriguing about Bills Mafia, and I sort of see them as the I don't want to say the underdog, but sort of the guy that's always sort of knocked down. And the Jets, like, we haven't had a real good rivalry with the Bills outside of like the Rex game where we lost the final week of the season. I mean, I've enjoyed the.
We didn't even make the playoffs because of that.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't really have a whole lot of hate the way I have a lot of hate for the Patriots with that game. So I look forward to the Bills games. I'll probably do something with hashtag sports and Mario and Paul and those guys for that.
Yeah,
I do have to put Mario through a table. I have to put Mario through a table, and I think I got to reach out to him and see when he wants to do that. But we could do that.
I don't see them beating the Patriots twice, and I don't see them beating the Rams. That's just why I'm giving them a 7 and 9.
Sure.
Beat Belichick twice? I don't know. They're just gonna have to do some more off-season trades or signings or whatever. Maybe, Bryce Huff, who I'm looking at, I'm really impressed with him. What do you think of this kid?
I like the edge rusher. He's the edge rusher from Memphis. He looks like he plays lights out. I think between him and Zuniga, the Jets have a very interesting young edge rushing core. As long as the Jets can replace Jordan Jenkins next year with one of those 2 players, I think that's good. And then I think you'll see our first overall pick in the first round either be corner or edge rusher. I think it's going to be a priority for us next year.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to ask you one last thing, and I don't want to hog up the line.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Marcus May, I know you and some other guy last cockpit you had on Monday.
Yep.
Really hyping him up a little bit, I felt. I think he's a good corner. He is a top 15, like you said.
Yep.
I think he's going to demand probably from the range of, 8 to 10 million maybe out in free agency?
Yeah, I think he'll try to get that. I think that's probably in the ballpark.
The only problem I have with him, he's injury prone, but I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think he's a killer. That's what we need. We need killers, man. We need guys like Troy Polamalu. We need guys like a Steve Atwater. I know we already have. I don't know. Jamal Adams, is he a strong safety, I guess?
Yeah, Jamal's a strong safety. I would say May is a strong safety as well. I would say he's more
I don't think
more
he's
of
a free safety, right?
Yeah, I think May's a free safety in the sense of like Jamal versus May, which one should play where. I think May should play free safety, but I do think May is more of a strong safety, and I think he's sort of played out of position there. Now, over the last 3 years, I've said what May and the injury concerns and whatnot. He's played 2 full 16-game seasons, and in 2018 he played 6 games for the Jets. So obviously that was the injury year. I could see him. He's going to be 27 this season. I could see him. I would say costing about $8 to $10 million, like you said. I'm going to pull up the over the cap numbers real quick so we can just discuss what the top safeties are actually getting paid.
Yeah.
And it looks like, yeah, if you're top 15, you should be in the $8 to $10 million range
Right.
for sure.
And he's still in his prime, I guess, technically.
Yeah, I would say you got another 3 years, this year included, 3
Yeah.
years of May in his prime, and then probably some good years after that, as long as he doesn't like drop off a cliff the way some players fall off a cliff.
Well, you know what the thing is with him? I'll let you go. Is
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I think he's tradable. I think by drafting this kid, Ashton, was it Davis is his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's tradable.
I
do.
think he is too. This is someone I really like Marcus May a lot. I've enjoyed him ever since the Jets took him in the second round after taking Jamal Adams. His time has really been on the clock with the Jets. You knew they weren't going to re-sign Adams and May. It's just too much money
right.
devoted at the safety position, especially taking this third round pick, Ashton Davis. So now May becomes a trade chip. They're saying, oh, the Jets are not shopping May. They're just taking phone calls for him. Yeah. I get it. You're absolutely looking to trade May. Like, I would be looking to trade May. And I like him too. Like, I like the guy, but he's going to be 27 years old. Of the two guys, you're probably not getting a compensation pick for him because he's going to walk in free agency, and then he's going to wind up – the Jets are going to sign a bunch of players in free agency, and it's going to wipe out our compensation formula. So why waste the money you could get from him when you can have Ashton Davis start the second half of the year, maybe get a third or a fourth round pick for May, and I'd be happy with that. I don't think you have to get – if you get a second, gravy. I don't think we're getting that for him, though. I think third or fourth is probably his value.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, have a great night and keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate the call. All right, guys, we got about 4 more minutes. I'm going to take another call or two, and we'll just kind of get your thoughts on the schedule. Oh, my boy.
Call from
Chris from Florida.
What's good, Chris?
Let's go, Jets 2020 football season! Woo!
I love it. What are you thinking about the schedule, brother?
I'm telling you right now, man. I was putting so much faith. The schedule popped up. I saw the order, and I was like, then I saw your listing. I gotta say this: if we can beat the Buffalo Bills at home, I am more than confident that we will beat the 49ers at home. I know for a fact we can, because Sam Darnold, if he can he's not going to be sick. We've got all of our players and just after losing Mosley, you saw the downplay of that. If all of our players can be healthy, if we can really, really keep that firm confidence and height, we can do a 3-in-a-row win streak. Especially, I believe we can beat the Colts. I think beating the Colts is a guaranteed thing because here's the thing. I'm not gonna say it's more an offensive win against what's his name, Phillip Rivers. It's the defense. Phillip Rivers doesn't do well against good defenses. And if our defense is as good as we still had last year, we can beat Rivers. And we can start off this season really strong. I think we will lose against the Chiefs. The Seahawks, I'm going to say 50-50 depending on how their injuries are, because I know when they hit hard on injuries, they do tend to decline. But, man, if we can beat the Bills and then have that real heightness, I'm very confident we can beat the 49ers. I just have that real high possibility.
I would love to. I wonder how much the fans would affect a game. Like, what is the actual home field advantage worth? Because we've always heard it's 2.5 points, I think is what Vegas gives it. And if the Jets were able to win against the Bills in Buffalo and then were to come home to, say, a packed stadium against the 49ers, I don't think the Jets are losing that Week 2 game.
I agree. I really agree. But if we did lose to Buffalo, I kind of would see an understanding of losing to the 49ers just because it would be a lousy start. But I'm very confident we can beat the Colts. Because like I said, Phillip Rivers, experienced quarterback. Yes, he's in a new team. Yeah, they've got some pretty good parts in that team. But when it comes to Phillip Rivers as the quarterback, if he's up against a good defensive team, he's going to have a struggle. The guy has had nothing but picks, even last year. So I really feel confident that Colts is going to be a W. I just really hope we don't do I hope the Patriots don't sweep us, man. I'm just going to be really disappointed. You saw, didn't we play that quarterback last year near the end
Stidham?
of that? game?
Yeah. Jamal Adams had one of his 2 picks in his career against Stidham.
Exactly.
It was in garbage time.
Exactly, but he wasn't even playing that full game, right? He played like the last quarter, I think.
Yeah, it was the last maybe 3 drives or so.
So I'm not gonna say we will sweep them. I'm not gonna be that optimistic because I always get bit in the butt. But
Of course.
I hope we don't get swept by them. That's gonna be the biggest disappointment.
If we could go 3-3 in the division, I'm okay with that. I can take 3-3, split every game, and just play well in the games that we lose. Like if that's what I'm getting out of the Jets this year, and we're not getting the blowouts that we had against the Dolphins, the Bengals, the really not so good looking games between I don't know. I want to see us play competent in all our games, not get blown out the way.
I agree. If I want a wild card, obviously. We've had this discussion before. I want Sam Darnold to get his experience and his reps in and make a close to enough playoff appearance because he needs to build that. But you know what? Even if we didn't win well, I want to see really close games. I want to see that the Jets fought to tooth and nail and really strive to show that they're a winning team. They're just missing those small pieces if needed be. And if anything, man, I agree with you with the 3-3 against the division, but please let that game against Buffalo be the first win. I think it's going to be a really good start, and I think Sam Darnold this year he's going to make a point. Let's go Jets! Jets!
Yeah, Chris, I love it. All right, brother. All right, I'll take one more phone call. We'll do one more phone call. That was a high energy call. It's gonna be tough to follow up. Guys, if you are part of the channel member wise, let's see those JETS emojis in there. I like seeing those pop up. Those are fun. All right, guys, one more call. We'll get one more call before I head out of here and kind of get your thoughts. Man, everyone loves Chris. Look at that. Chris, you got to follow him. All right, here we go.
Call from
Jake, what's good, brother?
Ryan, how you doing, man?
Hanging in there.
The draft?
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm bummed that the draft is over and I don't have much football to talk about outside of the schedule release. What are you thinking about the schedule?
Well, first, I just want to say you did a great job that weekend, and thank you for taking my call during the draft. I know it's hard to take on many calls, but you guys did a stand-up job.
Oh, I'm glad. I appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us.
Yeah, so anyway, on to the schedule stuff. You know what? Obviously, number one, we'll see what happens with COVID-19 in the schedule. I think that obviously has to be in the air more for anything at this point. But if we're going to be realistic, if the schedule does happen, look, you know what? I'm going to be frank with you. I think the Buffalo game is very winnable. I think people don't realize that week one we had a Sam Darnold who was sick. He was not ready for that game.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with the C.J. Mosley injury. That definitely played a part into that game. And this time, not this time, last time with warm weather week one for us, it's going to be another warm weather game. You're not playing in Buffalo when it's like negative 10 degrees outside. So I think that game is winnable. The Niner game, I hate to tell every fan on here, it's not going to happen. Like, this team is a Super Bowl caliber winning team. There's a reason why that they made it last year. They can run the ball. So that's a game I think we better just chalk that as a loss. The Colts game, I agree with the last caller. Rivers, we have a very good track record against him. We've beaten him in the playoffs. I think he knows that we've given him fits with defense. It's not going to be the Rex Ryan defense, but I think that's a winnable. I'm not going to go through every game, but I'm going to span through it. I think at this point now, if we can't go at least 5-1 or 6-0 in the division, I think it's a failure. Because I think with no Brady now, we can't keep making excuses anymore. The Dolphins have to be winnable games if Adam Gase wants to keep his job, because he cannot lose to his old team, and this is going to be a Ryan Fitzpatrick quarterback season. It's not going to be Tua as much as everyone wants Tua to play. The Bills, I think we can split, and I think New England, I think we can win those games. And at the end of the season, I got to tell you, the two games I'm actually happy about the way they scheduled it was having at Seattle and at LA. You know why? Because we'll spend 2 games in the West Coast, and we'll stay at a hotel and play at a local high school in LA before the Rams game. And let's face it, the McVay right now, they really just have lost his inheritance of all the talent he had from Jeff Fisher is gone, and now he can't draft all the players he wants. He reaches on Dan Joseph, lotta. But at this point now, Goff is not the guy, and I think that Darnold is going to have a homecoming like he will against the Chargers. His whole family's going to be there rooting hard for him. You're going to have all of Southern California voting for him. And then, of course, I think, if anything, it's not even the Patriots game. I think the Jets and the Browns game could decide a wild card game. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah, I think that wild card game, that Week 16 game against the Browns, could really be for a wild card spot, whether it be the first, second, or third spot. Because you got to imagine the Ravens are winning that division. I think they have the easiest schedule this year too. So if the Ravens win, then you got the Steelers, the Browns, the Jets. I think the Bills get the division. So maybe the Jets are competing with the Browns, the Steelers, the Colts. If you think the Texans might win that division. What other division am I looking at? The South? Who's it? Or no, the West. The West would be Chiefs. So maybe you fight with like the Raiders as the other team looking for a wild card. It's going to come down to that Week 16 game. I think you're right. I think one of those two teams is going to make the wild card, and hopefully it's not a Jet loss that prevents us from getting in.
No, I look, if I'm going to look at quick division winners, I think Indy has his division wrapped up already at this point. I think Tennessee is going to regress. I don't think Tannehill is going to have the kind of season that he had. I think the Texans are going to be the worst team in that division. I said it. I think Deshaun Watson is angry. I think he's angry about the moves that are being made. They know that Bill O'Brien right now is under serious fire, under scrutiny. He's going to, if they start 0-5 or 0-4 or a 1-5 start, Deshaun Watson's going to be demanding a trade out there, and it's going to get ugly. So I don't think they're going to have to start. And they're playing Kansas City week 1. That's an automatic loss right there for them. And then, obviously, to me, Kansas City, Patty Mahomes, and them, they're the new Patriots, except they're more likable Patriots team now that people want to watch win. They're going to win 12, 13 games. I don't see if we can beat Kansas City on the field, I will give Adam Gase my apartment, and I'll buy him a mansion in Manhattan. He can win that game. Let's just put it that way at that point. And then, of course, the Ravens will win that division. Right. I don't really love Lamar Jackson. I think it's an injury away. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be fighting for a wild card as much as that defense. I think Big Ben, you're hearing all the rumors that right now he pretty much neglected his health for years, and he's not recovering as fast as like a Tom Brady would. So I would say you got to give Cleveland maybe the benefit of the doubt if Stefanski and Baker are on the same page. But yeah, and then of course the division. I really think the NFC East is up for grabs. I don't think say, Buffalo's the new team, and I'm not saying as a Jet fan. I just think Josh Allen has to show why is he the next Tom Brady. I don't see it really in the works at all to believe. And Jarrett Stidham has started. So yeah, so that's my division at least for the AFC. So yeah, I would say back to the Browns game. That could be a serious wild card game.
So final record prediction. You think 7-9? Or you think 9-7, or somewhere in between?
I would say 9-7. I think it's a 9-7 season. But obviously, like I said, it all depends on if there's going to be fans at games. Because I think even for games that even we're home, because let's face it, we really don't really sell out games. I've been a season ticket holder, and I've watched so many games get, sold out by Vikings fans or Steelers fans. So even if it's games where we are home and there's no fans, that actually could for once be an advantage. I never thought I'd say that, but that is a real possibility.
Everything is like a home game for the Jets then, because you have all the opposing team's fans and then empty seats in MetLife. So every home game will be like a home game, or every away game will be like a home game for the Jets.
I couldn't agree more. All I care about is Sam Darnold having his family in Southern California. I think that's actually going to be the bigger advantage. And plus, that stadium, it's going to be a brand new stadium, and the Chargers can't sell out tickets. I think they're worried.
Yeah, no.
They can't even sell. They can't sell out like a local playground. So, I mean, that's where things are going for them.
Well, hey, the Jets are the second most attended franchise in the league behind the Dallas Cowboys, so I'm all about it. I think the Jets will come out in full force. Thank you so much for calling in. And I am going to close off the phone lines now. I'll take a little bit of time and give you my thoughts. Yeah, 7-9 to 9-7. That's going to be my record prediction, somewhere in there. Optimistic side of me says 9-7 with the games winning. You got Broncos, Cardinals, Chargers, Bills, Patriots twice, Dolphins, Raiders, and Rams as my 9 wins for the Jets this year. I could see more, I could see less. It's all going to depend on, injuries and how these teams really stack up. Every team from year to year is so drastically different. You have a team last year in Miami that could have earned the first overall pick. They wound up getting the 5th overall pick. That team could look drastically different. It wouldn't shock anyone to see the Dolphins go 8-8 with, you know, a better team, maybe some fire around Tua. Who knows? Does Tua play at all this year? Do they try to let him sit and rest for an entire season? Let Fitzpatrick ride out his deal? Does Herbert play for the Chargers, or will they let Tyrod focus on the team to start the season? There's a lot of variables that go into this. It's really not an exact science. 9-7 is going to be my overly optimistic take here. I should go back and look at what my last year's schedule prediction was, because it wasn't very good, or I predicted it to be very good, but it definitely did not go out that way. So we'll see, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's going to be it for me tonight. I am a little tired. I'm glad you guys tuned in and decided to hang out with me for this brief hour. Guys, don't forget to hit like and subscribe on the video. Follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I don't have too many Twitch guys. If you guys want to follow me on Twitch, Jets Talk 247. We're going to start simulcasting over there. Guys, this has been Jets Talk, and I'm signing off. Jets.